Good morning, everyone. We're just waiting a few minutes to our 8:15 start time. If you're new here, a big warm welcome. And if you're returning, very good. Happy to see you here. Good morning, Denmark. Thank you for joining us this morning. Okay, that's lovely. So we're just waiting to our departure time. If you are returning here for revalidation to check everything, I'm very happy to hear that. As I've said before, you need to return a few times just to get the swing of it. Even though the practice is very simple, as I said before, do not underestimate its power to really help you change your life and bring a huge and powerful sense of relaxation to your life. That's why people continue to meditate over many years. Many of our meditators have been meditating 30, 40, 20, 10 years. And it's something that once you start, you just want to continue. Life can change all the time. That's its nature. The nature of the relative field of existence is always going to have change. So it's how we actually cope with those changes, which is really important. So we're just coming up to our starting point. Again, if you've just joined us, a warm welcome. If you're returning, well done. And I hope for those that are returning or watching, essentially that you can continue popping in and out as you practice this at home. Okay, that's good. So we're going to begin now. So just one thing important to understand is that meditation is a very simple practice. You do not have to have any beliefs. If you do have religious beliefs, this won't interfere with them because we are a non-denominational form of meditation. It can only enhance your life. Often people ask, what is the difference between meditation and prayer? And the answer to that is, obviously, in prayer, we speak to God, so the direction is outward. In meditation, God speaks to us. So in other words, we're opening ourselves up to receive that divine force. So isn't that amazing? And so simple. And therefore, what we want to do is to be able to draw on those fine, subtle energies that exist within that divine force. And this is simply done through practicing regularly and obviously having the correct technique. So let me just remove this. So first of all, it's finding the right position. So you want to sit in something which is reasonably erect and comfortable, like a chair like this, could be an armchair. Do not be too vertical. You want to be as much as you can horizontal, and keep your hands either enlaced or just together and put them relaxedly in your lap. That's always the best way to start. That's good. So be comfortable. If you're sitting up in bed, make sure you're propped up. But however, we always recommend not meditating in bed, simply because when you get all sort of snug down in your bed, we're so habituated with sleeping in bed that you may fall asleep. Now, there's nothing wrong with falling asleep in meditation. That's absolutely natural and correct. But when we realize that we have fallen asleep, we should always continue the practice for 5 to 10 minutes. This will take that heaviness of sleep away from you. And this also indicates if you keep falling asleep in meditation that you're not getting enough rest, or there are other factors that are eating away at your personal energy. So what people note after practicing meditation for a while is they have an abundance of more energy. That's simply because stress and those mental processes use 8 times as much energy as we do physically. So even though you may not be physically active, mentally your mind could be overworking, it could be chattering away too much, and it's absorbing, it has to use that energy with which to function. So it's possible tiredness will overwhelm you when you haven't done anything physically. So what we want to do is ensure that we have the correct posture and the room is secure. We never ever use alarms or apps. Okay, you may have learned through a meditation app, and that's absolutely fine. But what we want to do is to be able to use our own inner resources, and we have a natural time sense within. So just at the start of your meditation, as you're closing your eyes, if you just say to yourself 20 to 30 minutes, you will surface generally at that period of time. If you're not sure, you can look at a watch or a clock that may be over in the other side of the room, but do that through squinted eyes. Never open your eyes completely fully, simply because that is shocking to the nervous system. So, your children can meditate with you. Small children don't have the capacity to sit there for 20 to 30 minutes, and they're going to become restless. But if they could start with you, and maybe stay there 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's going to be wonderful. Simply because they'll be more relaxed, they'll be easier to manage, and they will be less hyper. So there's great benefits in children meditating, and studies have proved that it increases their intellect. Even if they do it irregularly, it's very helpful to them. So we're going to meditate twice a day for 20 to 30 minutes. Once a day is not sufficient. You know, we want to lift those energies in the morning. We will use those energies through the day, but they will wane. So when we have our second meditation, or that like bathe, we bathe in those energies within us from that universal source. It raises our energies. And these energies are going to sustain and support us through the day. Through coronavirus, it's a very challenging period. We fully appreciate that. So meditation is the perfect tool to give you greater inner strength and to help you have greater mental clarity so you can make the best decisions for yourself and for those around you. So we do not also allow animals into the room, and ensure that simply because they will come and disturb you, but they also draw on those subtle energies that are produced by us, and obviously we want them. You know, you can have a happy dog, but we want to be a happy person. So the important thing is keep the posture not too erect, nice and relaxed. If you are cold, put something warm on. If you're hot, declothe. It's important to be comfortable. That's extremely, extremely important. So let's begin. So obviously for our meditators who are checked in maybe here and who are meditating with us, do your own practices. But for those joining us new, the first thing I want you to do is to close your eyes, but very, very slowly. And when I ask you to open your eyes, it's almost as if they're stuck together. So close your eyes slowly, and let's just relax with the eyes closed for a few seconds. Continuing with your eyes closed, I want you to place your attention on your breathing, the rising and falling of the chest, the breath going in and out of the nostrils. Do not try and alter the rhythm of your breathing. We just want to be its observer. And we're going to do that just for a couple of minutes. If you itch, scratch. Just ensure you're comfortable. Okay, now very, very slowly open your eyes. That's cool. Open their eyes. Really, really cool. Okay, just checking if it's all working and broadcasting correctly, which I believe it is. Now this time, that was easy, wasn't it? Extremely easy. So I said never underestimate the power of simplicity. Anything that is truly divine will always be simple and not be complex. So we're going to add another element into this with our thoughts. Now thoughts will bubble up in meditation because they're an integral part of us. Depending how much pressure we're under at this present moment will dictate the velocity, the amount of thoughts that we have and their clarity. So if you feel particularly under pressure, maybe you've lost your job, there's threat of redundancy, you don't have an income at the moment because of the virus. So many other factors. There could be tension within the family where you live or people you live with. So those things sort of dominate our thoughts and they will come up in meditation. But when they do come up in meditation, we're just going to observe them. Simply because as they pass through the mind, it's like a movie screen. They're passing over the movie screen of the mind. They will lose their velocity. They will lose their hold over you. And this is how we become to face those issues with greater ease, because we become more non-attached emotionally to those thoughts and we see them with greater clarity and therefore we're able to deal with them. So now I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. We're going to wait 10 to 15 seconds and place the attention on the breathing as before, the breath going in and out the nostrils, okay, or the mouth. It doesn't matter, through your mouth, through your nose. Just be the observer and just carry on observing the breathing, the rising and falling of the chest. But after some time you notice your attention goes onto the breathing, and that's fine. But when you realize you're only having thoughts and your attention is no longer on the breathing, without, and that is so important, without pushing those thoughts away, just become aware of your breathing again. So it's like a cycle. We watch the breathing, we naturally drift off onto some thoughts. We do not push those thoughts away, but when we realize that we're only having thoughts, we return to the attention of the breathing. Now, that period between, thinking and realizing that you're only having thoughts could be very short, it could be very long. It doesn't actually matter. The important thing is when you realize you're only having thoughts, then gently come back to the breathing, because those thoughts that are going through your mind are losing their hold over you. They're being sublimated and refined. So we do not want to stop that process. And if you try to push those thoughts out of the mind, they will only return with more strength and power. Okay, so we're going to continue now for the meditation period. And there's lots of people around the world meditating with us at this time. So this is the group meditation part. So as you become more established, you could just return here or at this time to meditate with us. It's a wonderful way to start the day. So just a reminder, have your eyes closed. If you haven't closed them slowly. Wait 10 to 15 seconds. Place your attention on the breathing, and let's begin. Okay. So now we want to surface from the meditation. So do not open your eyes, but wait at least 2 minutes before doing so. If you're unsure the time of 2 minutes, then count slowly to 120. But just allow your whole system to sort of wake up again from this deep relaxation. If we just jump up and open our eyes, it can be shocking to our nervous system, which has calmed so greatly through this practice. Don't be in a rush. And then when you're ready, open your eyes really slowly, and I will give you a few parting reminders. Good, welcome back. I hope that was good for you. Okay, so we're going to meditate 20 to 30 minutes using this technique twice a day. These sessions are really important to come back and validate good practice or to ask questions. So please feel free to do that. I'm also going to put up a support email for you here, because the one on the screen, if you're on a mobile device, is quite small. If you have any questions or you require any support, please email support@fighter.org, which will create a support case in our system so that we can answer you by email or by phone, whatever's easier for you. Keep coming back to revalidate practice is so important in the first week, so please check in. Our sessions are Monday through Friday, 8:15 a.m. and 5 p.m. GMT +1, that's British Summer Time. So I know that we have a lot of people checking in from Europe, and thank you for doing so. We're very welcome to see you. As you probably know, FISU has 70 meditation teaching centres in around 10 countries, mainly in Europe. And we have taught many thousands upon thousands of people around the world. We consider ourselves a rather large extended family, and the support that we give is literally 24/7. So once this period is over, we really request that you learn our advanced course, which would be learned through one of the centres. Thank you very much for your comments. Welcome George, Sam and various people who are here, hopefully for the first time, or you'll come back to revalidate your practice. Please continue on. Meditation is a life changer. It will do wonderful things for you. So if you have any questions, get in touch. Remember, 20 to 30 minutes. Do not worry if you have lots of thoughts. That's natural and correct. But when you realize you're only having thoughts without pushing them away, come back to the awareness of the breathing again. So that is the important point here. Don't push thoughts out of the mind, because they will just return with velocity. And we want to, come more and more, be their observers, so they no longer have so much control over us. And the moment that control diminishes, there will be less mind chatter. Good. So any questions, please follow up by email. We hope to see you. There's a session at 5 p.m. today. And then again, we start on Monday. So please check in and do your practices over the weekend, and maybe we'll talk about that on Monday. So thank you very much and see you soon. Goodbye.